When we think of Norway, we often picture dramatic fjords, long winters, and a deep connection to nature. But Norway is also home to one of the richest knitting traditions in the world, a tradition shaped by climate, wool, and everyday life. In this video, I want to explore the Norwegian knitting culture, the role of wool and sheep, and then also have a look at the designers and patterns that are continuing this tradition today. And just a quick heads up, there is also going to be a giveaway later on in the video with a Norwegian knitwear designer, but I'm going to talk more about that later on. For now, let's get started. This video is part of my Knitting Around the World series, and this time we are heading up north to Norway. In Norway, knitting has long been a practical skill. It wasn't done primarily for decoration or trend. It was something you relied on. Knitted garments were worn outside, they were layered for warmth, and they were expected to last for years. Knitted sweaters or garments in general weren't delicate pieces, they were workwear. And knitted mittens weren't just pretty accessories, they were truly essential. Knitting knowledge was passed down within families and communities, and the knitting patterns themselves often carried regional identity. Certain patterns, motifs, and colors, or even construction told a story of where a piece of knitwear came from. There's a strong sense of continuity here, a feeling that knitting is part of daily life and not separate from it. And that mindset still shapes the Norwegian knitting culture today. To understand Norwegian knitting, we have to talk about climate first. Norway has long, cold winters, strong coastal winds, and a landscape shaped by mountains and sea. In an environment like this, clothing has to work with the body. This is why wool plays such an important role in the Norwegian textile culture. Traditionally, a wool wasn't chosen for softness first. The performance truly mattered. A wool had to be breathable, strong, and durable. Many Norwegian sheep breeds are hardy and well adapted to their environment, and their wool reflects that. It's ideal for colorwork, structured garments, and sweaters meant to be worn outdoors. This is also where the Norwegian yarn brands come in. Brands like Sandnes Garn, Rauma, and Hillesvåg Ullvarefabrikk carry this tradition forward. I'm actually wearing a cardigan today that I knitted with yarn from Hillesvåg, and the base that I used is called Ask. This yarn truly embodies the essence of Norwegian wool for me. It is warm, sturdy, and made to last. If you are interested in more details about this cardigan, I'm going to link my Ravelry project page for you down in the description box below, along with everything else that I'm mentioning in this video. Hillesvåg is a real Norwegian treasure, a wool mill that's been in the same family for generations and still spins yarn using traditional techniques. They focus on wool from Norwegian sheep breeds, including pelsau, producing yarns that have a beautiful natural character and are designed to last. And their colorways and names are inspired by the Norwegian landscape itself. Then we have Sandnes Garn, which is a true Norwegian classic. This yarn company has been part of the Norwegian knitting life since the late 19th century. Their range includes everything from traditional wool yarns that are perfect for colorwork to soft blends that feel lovely against the skin. Their yarns like Per Gynt and Fritidsgarn are practically part of the Norwegian identity now. By the way, I am also wearing something made out of Sandnes Garn today. Let me see if I can give you a quick look. So, these are slippers that I knitted with Fritidsgarn and then felted them in the washing machine and later on also in the tumble dryer. It is a free pattern by Helene Rønquist Knutsen, and I can highly recommend them. I not only made this pair for myself, but I made 3 more for both of my daughters and also a pair for my husband. Now, as you might be able to tell, my pairs are all missing the very cute embroidery right now, and that's because I made those as Christmas presents and I just ran out of time right before Christmas, so I still have to add the embroidery. But overall, I absolutely adore this pattern. I think they are absolutely cute and very wearable, and I can highly recommend them to you. Rauma garn comes from a historic mill from the western part of Norway, and they have been creating yarn since the 1920s. They focus on pure Norwegian wool, much of it non-superwash, which gives knitted pieces great definition and durability. So perfect for traditional sweaters and color work that stands up to real wear. One of the most iconic and well-known Norwegian knitting patterns is Selbu. Now, Selbu is actually the name of a very small town in the Trøndelag region of Norway, and it is said that the Selbu pattern was first designed and created by a young woman who was only 15 or 16 years old at this time, and her name was Marit Gulsetbru Emstad, and she designed the popular Selbu Rosa pattern, the Selbu Rose, in the 1800s. Selbu patterns are known for their high contrast color work, often black and white, and their intricate geometric motifs. Originally popularized through mittens, these patterns became widely recognized far beyond Norway. They were used as a symbol of resistance during the Second World War. The resistance movement would sometimes wear Selbu mittens with the royal coat of arms knitted into the pattern. They also provided women a way to earn some money when they were knitting and selling their mittens, and this played an important role in the independence of women. In the past, it was a tradition for the women of Selbu to knit mittens for their wedding, so the bride or a female guest would knit a pair of mittens for each of the male guests of the wedding. During the wedding celebrations, the mittens were displayed in the so-called bridal attic or brudelofte, where the wedding guests could take a close look at the women's handicrafts. What's important to know is that these garments weren't precious. They were meant to be worn, used, repaired, and passed down. And this tradition didn't disappear. It evolved, and it is still part of the Norwegian knitting culture today. And this brings us to the contemporary Norwegian knitwear designers and their amazing patterns. Now, unfortunately, I cannot show you all of the patterns in this video, but I have put together a bundle on Ravelry that contains a huge number of knitting patterns from Norwegian designers, and I'm going to link that for you in the description box below. Ellie from Skeindeer Knits captures the Norwegian knitting aesthetic beautifully. Her designs feel rooted in tradition, but they are also very wearable at the same time. The first pattern that I would like to show you is called the Kose Kofte, which translates to cozy cardigan, and it came out in December of 2020. It is this gorgeous colorwork design with the traditional lice motif that you can see on the lower part of the body here. She was inspired by Scandinavian ski jumper patterns when she created this design, and the pattern is knitted from the bottom up, and you can decide if you want to knit the sleeves bottom up as well or top down. Since this is an all-over colorwork design and also involves steeking, meaning that you knit in the round first and then cut into your knitting, most likely to create the openings for the sleeves by just looking at the pattern, I think this is definitely more of a advanced knit. Another stunning pattern from Skeindeer Knits is called Julenat, which translates to Christmas night. And she intentionally didn't add any Christmas motifs to the pattern so that you can wear these mittens all winter long and not just around Christmas time. I absolutely love the Starry Night and the reindeer on the mittens. Arne and Carlos Zacharisson are internationally known for their bold use of color and patterns. They are authors, YouTubers, and designers. Their first knitting book was called Julekule, 55 Christmas balls to knit, and it has been translated into 15 languages. And to date they have published 10 knitting books. I want to show you 2 of their patterns today. First we have the Selbu Christmas Stocking 2022, and this design is knitted from the bottom up and features a short row heel. And the second pattern that I would like to show you is called Agda, and it is this cushion pattern that is knitted with the Rowan Soft Yak DK and has these beautiful different floral motifs for the front and the back. Now if you hear some strange noises, I'm sorry, that is my dog Bonnie. She decided to lay down right next to me and is a bit loud today, so sorry about that. Now let's talk about a designer whose design aesthetic I think you are really going to enjoy because it is so unique and nostalgic. Her name is Helene and her company is called Fabel Knitwear, and she designs very romantic and feminine patterns. The first pattern that I would like to show you is called the Fabel Eilander, and Eilander is a traditional or old Norwegian term for a knit sweater, and this type of garment was originally knitted by the wives of fishermen or laborers that worked on the coast to keep them very warm. And Helene's take on this traditional pattern is inspired by the 1930s and 40s with these beautiful puffed shoulders. The sweater is worked top down in stranded colorwork. It's a very fitted design which is intended to be worn with 0 inches or centimeter of positive ease. And to me it feels both elegant and casual at the same time. I really like this design. Next, let's talk about the Oxford jumper. Now this pattern has even more exaggerated puff shoulders. It is knitted from the top down with 1 strand of a silk mohair yarn and 1 strand of Athena. Helene has her own yarn line called Fabel Knitwear, and Athena is a fingering weight base with a blend of merino, nylon and stellina. And the stellina content gives the sweater this glowing look. It is inspired by the silhouette of the 1890s with its fitted and cropped cut and the puffed sleeves ending in a fitted cuff. Next we have the Garland jumper that is knitted from the top down as well with a soft double turtleneck, a crop fit and a colorwork pattern on the lower part of the body. And you might have already spotted the traditional lice motif in the colorwork here. Now Helene says that the silhouette of this pattern is inspired by the 1940s ski jumpers and that the colorwork is reminiscent of the golden beads that they used to decorate their Christmas tree with at home. And that brings us to the giveaway of this video. Helene has very kindly agreed to give away a copy of one of her beautiful knitting patterns. All you have to do is leave a comment down below letting me know which of Fabel Knitwear's knitting patterns you would like to make. Please also add your Ravelry username so that Helene can gift you the pattern. I'm going to draw the winner exactly 1 week from now and announce it in a community post here on YouTube. Thank you so much to Helene for making this amazing giveaway possible. The next designer I would like to talk about is Malin Borgersen, also known as minegleder. And it was very hard for me to choose which of her designs to show you because she has a very beautiful, elegant and feminine design aesthetic. The first design that I picked out is called the Eldora sweater, and I think this is just so unique and beautiful. It is knitted with the popular combination of 1 strand of Knitting for Olive's merino held together with 1 strand of their soft silk mohair. The pattern came out in November of 2025 and it features lace and this crocheted edge that gives it this nostalgic look. Another pattern of hers that I think is equally as beautiful and that came out in February of 2025 is the Iris Bloom cardigan. It features this beautiful lace panel that's running down the shoulders and sleeves and is knitted from the top down in one piece. The button band is done in double knitting and seamlessly integrated with the neckline. I also really like the folded over sleeve cuffs and hem. I always feel like this is such a special design feature that really elevates the whole look of the garment. And I just have to show you one more of her designs because, yeah, I just couldn't decide which one to pick. This one is called the Drops Zip Sweater, and I really like her take on a zipper sweater. It looks so cozy and almost elegant with this all over cable motif. It's knitted from the top down in one piece and features a loose fit with this cable pattern throughout. It has a high collar with a zipper that is attached at the end. Now let's talk about Sidsel Høivik next. I first came across Sidsel and her beautiful and unique designs when she was interviewed in, I think it was way back in 2017, yes, by Andrea of the Fruity Knitting podcast, and that was episode 30. I'm going to link it for you in the description box in case you have not seen it yet. And I feel like just by looking at Sidsel's designs, you can really tell that she is a very experienced and talented knitwear designer. All of her designs look so colorful and happy, and yeah, I think they are just so unique and absolutely wonderful. You can purchase her patterns either individually on Ravelry or on her website. They are often offered in the form of a kit, so you get the pattern together with the yarn. The first design of hers that I would like to show you is called Sol I Setesdal, which means sun in Setesdal. And this is a pattern that is part of her book called My Best Knitted Treasures. I absolutely love this pattern. I think it looks so happy and beautiful. It features the traditional lice motif and also contains some more color work on the sleeve cuffs and the bottom hem, and these cute little flowers that are added via embroidery. She used the Hillesvåg Ullvarefabrikk Vilje yarn to knit her sample, which is a fingering weight 100% Norwegian wool. And the sweater itself has dropped shoulders, which creates this relaxed fit. Next up, I would like to show you the Delft Royal Jacket. Now, I think this pattern has a very sophisticated and elegant look to it. It is also part of her book My Best Knitted Treasures and also knitted with the Hillesvåg Ullvarefabrikk yarn. This time she used two different bases. She used Vilje and Sølje. Sidsel says that the jacket's name came by itself when she saw the similarity with the classic ceramic tiles from Delft in the Netherlands. And the pattern is knitted in the round and steeked both on the front and for the sleeves. It is a combination of knitted horizontal stripes and vertical stripes that are crocheted after finishing the knitting. So you never knit with more than 2 threads at a time. And the button bands are both knitted and crocheted. Next up, let's talk about Birger Berge. And Birger Berge is very well known for his colorwork designs. The first pattern of his that I would like to show you is called the Syrup Snit Socks. And this one comes also as a hat and a mitten pattern, and it is available for free, which I think is absolutely wonderful. It comes in 2 different sizes, one for men and one for women. And the socks are knitted from the cuff down and feature this all over classic colorwork motif. The heel is done as an afterthought heel, and this means that you knit the sock as a long tube first and then cut an opening for the heel and knit the heel later on. I also wanted to show you one of his garment patterns, and I choose this one called Andromeda. Now, I was really drawn to that one because it has this unusual placement of the colorwork motif on it. It's also available for free and features the colorwork on the body and also on the sleeve cuffs. It is knitted from the bottom up and is available both as a sweater and a cardigan version for both men and women. Let's have a look at this design now called the Pina sweater. It is a pattern by Linka Neumann, and Linka has a very unique and instantly recognizable design aesthetic. She has also published 2 books. Both are from her Wilderness Knits series, and her designs are very colorful and inspired by nature. The Pina sweater is a great example of her aesthetic, I think. It's knitted with an Aran weight yarn from Rauma, and it looks so thick and cozy that I imagine you would stay very warm when wearing it during a snowy winter day in Norway. It has a raglan construction and is knitted from the bottom up. And another great pattern for a snowy, cold winter day would be the Eleanor balaclava, I think. This is a design by Stine Erikstad. And I'm personally usually not a fan of the balaclava look, but I feel like this is a very beautiful design that I personally would love to make for myself. Now, unfortunately, the pattern is currently only available in Norwegian, but I think if you were to put the pattern instructions into, let's say, Google Translate, I imagine it would be very doable to knit the pattern. Now let's have a look at a very famous Norwegian knitting pattern, the Genser. The Genser features patterns inspired by the traditional Sidsel sweater. In Norwegian this is called the Sidsel Genser, but without the lice pattern motif. While the traditional sweaters use the natural colors of sheep wool, so black, gray, brown and white, the Genser designs incorporated colors with the most common being red, white and blue, which are the colors of the Norwegian flag, of course. The pattern is named after Marius Eriksen, who was a World War II fighter pilot and a skier. And the pattern that I have picked out to show you is by Sandnes Garn, and it is called the Marius Genser. Now, this pattern can be a bit hard to get. Some shops, online shops, sell it as an individual pattern, and it also comes in the magazines from Sandnes Garn that can also be a bit hard to get, and you can in addition often find it as a kit in some online shops together with the yarn. The pattern itself comes with 2 different options. You can either knit the sweater top down or bottom up, and you will have to knit the colorwork portion flat, which is a bit tricky to do because it means you also have to purl in colorwork. I would imagine though that you could easily modify the pattern to be knitted in the round and then sticked later on to cut the openings for the sleeves. So I would imagine that this should be doable, but I have not tried it myself. But overall, I think this is a very beautiful design. It's so timeless and classic, and to me it feels like the incarnation of the Norwegian knitting aesthetic. Norwegian knitting culture reminds us that knitting doesn't have to be fast or trendy in order to be meaningful. It can be practical, it can be rooted in place, and it can tell stories of the land, climate, and community. And if you enjoyed this knitting journey through Norway, I think you are also going to like my video about Sweden, which is a neighboring country of Norway, but with its own distinct knitting culture. Happy knitting! See you next time. Bye!